well, a high-end, like a St. Regis type of co-working space. Simon, if you don't mind that comparison. Yeah, so, so the great thing, I guess what I can share today is, apart from my past experiences, I've also been able to use that experience in selling campaigns for clients and executing these campaigns from the point of view of a business owner myself. So now for Colony, we use like entirely digital media, and I've been able to put myself in the shoes of a small medium business owner and realize what works and what doesn't work, as opposed to, let's say, if you're a big brand. So yeah, that's my side.
Testing. Oh, it works. Hi guys, my name is Wen and I'm the founder of SushiVid. So I started with a couple of startups before, and when it came down to it, I wanted to start something myself, and I think it took so much courage out of me to start up, because as a woman, it's always been like, just live a simple life lah, find a husband, don't stand out, don't try to be too, don't try so hard, just be normal. So when I wanted to do my startup, it was hard because I got a lot of people who weren't really that supportive, so it took a lot of courage for me. I think that was one thing I wanted to say. And then the other thing is why I came down to doing something with influencers is because I was an actress as well back in 2010, 2011. And it was a very, very hard space because I have to go for a lot of castings, and I have to go and see, and I have to put my face full of makeup. I go for a casting, hopeful that I'll get something, but then there is no news. Nobody comes back and tell me like, oh, your casting, you should have done it this way, you should have done it that way. And I realized that creative space in Malaysia is really lacking. It's like, back in the days, we have really good music, Sheila Majid, gone. We've not had really good creators for a really long time. Not bloggers, okay? I'm a huge fan of marketing. It's just, for the longest time, I feel like video creators and actors and stuff are so underserved in this market, and it's like, people expect us to actually go for casting without knowing what it's about, without giving us any information. And I mean, back then when I started, there was no YouTube and Facebook and Instagram. It was just very manual, go for casting all the time. So when it came down to starting my own startup, I wanted something that was close to my heart, which was creators. And that's why I started SushiVid. So today, SushiVid is 5,000 influencers strong, and we are a platform like JobStreet. So if Nafnang is like headhunter agency, SushiVid is JobStreet. And I hope that answers. Sort of? Yeah.
Hi everyone, my name is Dexter. I'm the director of Cloudbreaker. Apparently, how we started this is, before this, I did start a few startups with my partners as well. And that was a point where on our second startup, we are a social entrepreneur where we try to help those elderly people. We work with UN and we sell some goods to raise funds to help the elderly people. So apparently we hit some bottleneck that trying to promote is very tough, especially trying to get the public to support. Yeah, because like we are no one, we are trying to do something good, make an impact just to society. So that's where we, I think about 8 months after doing the social entrepreneurs campaign, we got the idea that we need to do something about marketing as well. So that's how we start Cloudbreaker. Yeah, we approach brands, we approach influencers. Yeah, I think that's all.
Yeah, we have to share the mic here. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, let's just jump right in. Let's say you're a company, and then you're used to advertising during the traditional means. What are some of the upsides of going through, social media, using social influencers, and maybe some of the downsides as well? So pros and cons of using social influencing. Who wants to take this?
I have a lot to say about the pros and cons. For starts, I think the pro is that there's a lot of human touch when it comes to social media influencers, because you're dealing with another human and they have their opinions. And so as opposed to using Facebook ads where you decide what your message is, now you don't have control because the influencer is going to say what the message they want to say. They have the right to the key message. So having said that, the con also is there because now it's not me putting an ad on Facebook and then automate it. It's like me dealing with another human. So the human-to-human interaction, sometimes you may not, get what you want, because the influencer also have their right to their opinion. So I think the con definitely is that it's two sides human, whereas the pro is that you get the personal touch. Yeah.
From my side of view is where the word of mouth is very powerful. So especially like business, we are actually more to B2B. So when business approach us, we use this as like a campaign. So actually for us, Club Breaker is we are linked into influencer as well. So we work both ways. Where first is company approach us to give a certain amount of budget, and we be their agency. And second is where they pay monthly subscription to our platform and find their own influencer and to execute their own campaign. So for the pro side is the word of mouth is very powerful, especially like influencer, key opinion leaders giving their opinion to us. But the con side is nowadays is there's too many influencers out there. Some of them are buying likes, some of them are buying likes, so that it's very hard to differentiate who is the real one in original content. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. So I think we heard from the talk earlier during the keynote, like Ms. Chow was saying, the metrics have changed. Like the KPI has changed. It's no longer likes or views. It's like clickable links, right? So is that how these guys are overcoming that? With people buying likes and buying views?
When it comes to influencer metrics, I think it's a given. It's a given that everybody wants it, right? But they don't realize it's long term. Because it's like I would be searching for something to eat in Sekinchan and maybe Timothy Tiah's blog post comes up. It's like he may have written it like 3 years ago, but it's lost. It's so long term that you cannot measure like, I want the result for the clicks to be now. Because sometimes people write a blog post, it gets discovered like six months later, 1 year later. You cannot discount the fact that the content itself, the creativity of the content, is its value in itself, right? The matrix is important, yes. Your key messages are important, but the creativity and the content and the viability of the content is also just as important. Having said that, our platform do have a lot of matrices. We try our best as much as we can with whatever the YouTube API or the Instagram API gives to us. We try our best to give you the metrics, but I still feel a lot of times just because you can measure, suddenly it's like, what's the conversion? You've been doing this on newspaper for all this time. You've been doing this on billboards. Nobody talks about conversion for billboards. So why suddenly the double standard when it comes to influencer marketing? But having said that, I understand because you spend money, of course you want to know that there's conversion. But I also feel that there's a lot going into the content, the value of their brains to think about this content, what am I going to do for you, how can I angle for this property with my Instagram. It takes brain power to really think about how to give you a post that would mean something. So I think content is really important. The creativity is also as important, not just the metrics.
Yeah, talking about this part is a bit tricky, so especially when we deal with B2B. So some of our brands ask us how do we measure their own ROI. So there's quite a few metrics out there, but we keep to a few simple points, which is one is from the posting, we have like a link. From there we can track how many clicks from the amount of visitor that they visit to their clicks, and then from there how many will convert to buying in the end, or how many people will use this coupon rate so that they can keep track for this. And second is recently H&M, they just launched a new brand which is called Naiden. It's a stockish language, means new. So they are using another ROI where they use with influencers to co-create brands to convert the influencer, for example, to create a brand for them, and from there they create sales. Yeah, that's another measure of ROI for them. Yeah.
Right. Now, this one is just for you, Timothy, because you were there right from the beginning. So 2007, so we're hitting on like 11 years now. So early beginning was bloggers, right? Bloggers, so people just writing that. So, I mean, like, how has that changed over time? I mean, from blogging to like blogging, and we've got YouTubers and all that. Like, how has it changed? How has it evolved? And where do you see this going in the next 2-3 years?
I think that from 10 years ago, the people haven't changed. Like we still, what has changed is the platforms. We have a lot more platforms to use it. So back then with bloggers, we're still creators, always creating content, and now we just have different formats and different platforms. I think that the great thing is that now a lot more people are on social media than say 10 years ago. So social media is, the power of influencers, right, is really, really insane. And if you ask how it applies to business, look at some of the entrepreneurs just in Malaysia, right? Well, globally, if you look at entrepreneurs, whether it's like Elon Musk or Jack Ma or like Mark Zuckerberg and everything, they spend a lot of time on the social media platforms. And they essentially use it as a main means of building their personalities and translating that into business. And in Malaysia, that really exists. Right? In Malaysia, even for me, right, after I left Nothing and Netcentric, I came out and started a new company, and it's only because of like our social media platforms that we've been able to attract like good people to work with us, great investors. Colony is only like 8 months old, and we've raised like 20 million bucks for an 8-month-old company. Like that's just impossible, and we've been able to do that because we've been able to attract, using our own social media platforms and influencers, we've been able to attract a lot of customers, so that gives us very good numbers in our business. So there is no doubt that social media or influencers work, but there's one big problem with it. Has anyone ever like been sold on social media and gone to Instagram and looked for someone with a few hundred K followers on Instagram, and then decide to run a campaign on this person and pay this person, and then you see that, at the end of it, you get like thousands of likes, and this person has a couple 100,000 followers or something like that. And then once you see all those numbers, and then you look at your sales, and you realize that it hasn't converted to any sales. Has anyone ever had that before?
Yes.
Yes. So when you have experienced stuff like that, and when you look at people like us on stage, you probably like, these guys are just BSing lah, right? Right now, let's be frank here, right? And I empathize with that, because right now I'm coming out, I'm also a small business here. The old adage is that, the old ad saying, right, is that I waste half of my advertising budget every year. I just don't know which half, right? So if you're a big company like MaxisDG, you can afford to waste half. But when you're a small SME like us, right, we don't have half to waste, because we have no money, right? So why is it so hard? Why is social media influencers so effective but so hard to get right? The problem is that it's very much an art. It's very much an art as opposed to a science, and it's very not scalable. So some influencers for a certain product work very well, depending on the messaging, depending on the product and the person. For some, it just doesn't work. So like my wife, 4 feet 9, right? When she does like a parenting, a beauty product or something like that, like it sells. It really sells. They can track sales, right? Or when she does like something like Honestbee, also Honestbee tracks sales with promo codes. You can track sales, right? But if she does something like unrelated to her or not as related to her, right? It just doesn't sell at all. And sometimes it's just so weird, right? It works very well the first time with one influencer, and you think, oh, works, put more money, try again, right? And then it doesn't work. So the problem with social media influencers is that it's very effective, but it is just not scalable. It's not like programmatic. It's not like Facebook ads. It's not like Google ads where 10,000 work, I just put 100,000, no problem. You can't. It's easy to spend 10,000 on influencers effectively. It's very hard to spend 100,000 effectively on influencers. And I guess that's the trouble a lot of us have. So it's really hit and miss. Even in Colony, I try a lot of different ways. And I've had mixed results, But what else works, man? I guess I've tried all sorts of things. I've tried Facebook ads, I've tried Google ads, and the cost per leads, cost per conversions are very, very expensive. You know, so, and influencers seem to work, but just that I can't get it to work consistently, even myself. You know, so yeah, before taking too much time, that's my take home. I wanted to convey to you guys today.
Do you want me to go on with his?
Yes, please.
I actually agree with Tim, you know. With everything, even your own landing pages, right? You need to A/B test, right? Like businesses, you really need to A/B test your own landing pages. Even Facebook ad, you got to try a lot, hit and miss. So even with influencer marketing as well, like it. And I mean it in a way, like a lot of people, like they want to do it themselves and they want to, you know, engage the influencer. Oh, influencer very approachable, you know, you can approach it yourself. But the thing is, you don't realize that you will spend a lot of money on mistakes if you do it yourself. But if you go to like someone like Nafne or you come to us, we've done so many campaigns that I think we have a little bit more expertise. So the mistakes can be lessened a little bit. So just like, for example, Google Ads. If you were to do it yourself, yeah, the facility is there. You can go and do your own Google AdWords. But as opposed to going to a Google AdWords expert who has done it for like 10, 20 other brands, industry, like really. I mean, from my experience, lifestyle, travel, food, fashion, apps, phone apps, very good, right? Anything B2C, we are very good at, because I think it's very obvious, millennials, what attracts them, right? But if you are targeting B2B businesses, payment gateways, credit cards, it's slightly more challenging. But having said that, not cannot do. It's just takes a lot more process to think about it. Yeah.
I'm sure Dexter might have something to add to that, because you're into the line of analytics. Like, you can kind of get where the data is coming from, analyze that, know what works, know what doesn't. Your thoughts on that?
Okay, just to add on what Timothy and Yuhwen said. So apparently, using social media influencer is more like an experiment, because in Hong Kong we are engaging with big brands like Estee Lauder, SK2, Issey Miyake. So all these different brands have a different identity to us. So when we approach them and when they on board with us as a client, so each metric, we have a different metric to use to track the campaign. So apparently, like certain things that we use in SK2, for example, the view of video, okay, as a conversion rate or as a ROI, but it doesn't work for Issey Miyake. So it depends on each and every brands, what is their campaign as something like what Timothy said, with something which is not familiar, sometimes it doesn't work as well. Yeah.
So obviously we've got a lot of platforms, right? We've got YouTube, Facebook, Instagram and whatnot, Twitter. Obviously I'm assuming that certain industries are more focused on certain platforms and certain works for others. Like, what's your take on that? Sorry, just to add to that, like, what would be a typical thing that works more on Facebook and less on Twitter or YouTube? I mean, what is your take on that? Do you notice trends?
Yeah, I guess this would be a question best answered by the influencers themselves. I'm a really bad influencer. I'm really, really bad. So yeah, I know. I break all the influencer rules now. I mean, it's freaking competitive, right? If you want to be a popular influencer these days, right? How competitive? Let me just tell you how competitive it is, right? 90% of the pictures you see on Instagram, very, very nice one, right? Heck, man, they look like, on the beach with a blanket on the window or something. Have you ever seen this kind of stuff? Right? Or like having just woke up and just breakfast all neatly arranged on the bed and everything. That doesn't happen in freaking real life. You know what I mean? What is that? What's happening on Instagram, right? That photo probably took half an hour to set, right? Just for that freaking short time. So so people have to put all the effort into it, and not just that, right? At 9 p.m. every day, which is the peak for Instagram, because Instagram has is a peak for where everyone's on Instagram. At 9 p.m., all these influencers will get together, and then they would start they will have a little chat group and they will say, okay, I'm posting a photo, right? And at 9 p.m. everybody will quickly go and comment and like the photos, and they will reply each comment now, because all the interactions and comments, if they come in at one go, velocity, there's a higher chance of ending up on your feed based on the algorithm. Like, that's just like 3%, what I just said, just 3% of how competitive it is to be an Instagram celebrity these days. It's just that difficult. And when I say I'm a very bad one, look at mine, right? Days go by, I don't update anything on my Instagram because I'm just working. You know what I mean? I'm just working. It's a very competitive thing where very often it requires a full-time thing. And for me, I'm not capable of doing something like that. So you ask like what platforms work? I think it depends on what your forte is. So if you're good at doing like real good videos, like whether it's music or funny videos, then YouTube works very, very well. Facebook to some extent, although like Facebook interaction seems to have dropped from what I understand in terms of the reach of pages. If you like writing, so I like writing, so I use blogs to write content and all that. So they're different. It really depends on what kind of format you want from, right? So that's just my 2 cents.
Wow. Okay, for starts, I think you have to define your objective of what you want to do and why you want the content to be there. So if your content is supposed to be like, today, major sale in Lazada, okay, countdown now, then yes, please go and use Instagram and Facebook because it's a news feed. It comes up now and now, right? But if you want something that helps you when people search for something, like when people search for teeth whitening, I don't know, that just came up. Like, if somebody search for teeth whitening and you want yours to be like, something that somebody else endorses, then use a blog. It will last a lot. It will last a really long time on a blog, right? So you pay one time and then it lasts for a really long time. Whereas if you do Instagram, it's like today is there, tomorrow no more. And YouTube also lasts quite long, right? But if you are going to ask me from an influencer's perspective, what platforms they should be on, I think everything. There's no excuse. If you want to be an influencer, do it on every single platform. Because you're already there, give it your all. I'm a huge fan of Gary Vaynerchuk. It's like, just give it your all, do everything. Because, it's like TikTok just came up, for example. If you're the first one on TikTok, you will have 1 million followers. Definitely. And while it's still nobody, you can make the arbitrage. Even if for brands, right? You feel like, oh, okay, don't use influencer because it's expensive. Not really. Depends on what you're looking for. Some influencers are still fairly cheap. You can still make an arbitrage. Whereas, some of it obviously clearly overpriced, but there are also those hidden gems that are very, very famous that nobody knows of, undiscovered, and then suddenly Firdaus finds them. Like, when I found this fellow from Penang, wow, very famous, but nobody knows. And it's so cheap. So it really depends on, what your objective is for a brand, and for an influencer, no excuse, just do everything. Yeah.
Whereas for me, I find that what's your objective as well, and second is who's your target audience, because each and every social media channel have their own target audience. Like for example, beauty, food, probably you would like to use Instagram, or probably if you like to do a product review, YouTube would be the best. Probably a short, what is your thought? Probably Twitter would be good as well. Yeah. I think just that's all.
Awesome. So let's say if I was a typical company, I've got a product or a service, and I approach you for a campaign. So typically, what type of time frame, what type of cost are we looking at? Obviously, the objective would be to reach as much people and to convert as much as we can. So
the time frame depends on how much heart attack you want to give my team. I mean it honestly. It's like we are dealing with two sides of the coin, humans. So it's like we are the major punching bag, and I think Timothy can vouch for me. Seriously, after I started a platform, and I think everybody going to self-serve on my platform, it's not real. It's like they still need me to talk to them, understand, and then even influencers. It's like We think that it's going to be like, oh, I set up a platform already, you all sendiri, come online, no such thing. It's like, I still have to like, J-Pong, sorry, your post ready already. She sent us at 3 a.m. yesterday. So, it's like, we still have to do it very manually. Yeah? So, when it comes to time frame, it really depends. Some clients, they will expect it in 1 week. Okay lah, if this is a very precious client and they are not so niao, right? They're not so inflexible about the post, 1 week I'll do it for you. But if you want to give me some comfortable time frame, flexibility, come up with all kinds of great ideas from the influencers themselves, 3 weeks. You want to do YouTube? 4 weeks. And I know some people be like, wow, you got platform and you still need 4 weeks. I mean it, you want value, you want to make sure you don't make a mistake, you want to make sure that everything is up to spec, give it the time it deserves. If you want to rush the platform players like us, or you want to rush agencies to do it for you within a week or 2 weeks, and then you don't get the result that you want, I mean, it's like that lah. Because you wanted to rush one. But if you give us time, then we will give you something much better, because we've really sat down, brainstormed, thought through, talked to the influencer, make them understand. Yeah, all that takes time.
For us, it's comfortably about 3 weeks to a month. So from the client give us the budget, and then we need to brainstorm how many influencers we are looking at, and then we need to go through the influencer content. Just for example, one of our client last year, which is Uber. So we did a cross campaign among the 3 countries, which is Hong Kong, Taiwan, and Indonesia. So they gave us a certain amount of budget, and they are looking at 120 influencers. So we have to do our back end as well as a manual, because we need to look at those influencers who are using Uber every day. Because like for example, influencer A, we couldn't find just like influencer A that didn't use Uber, but suddenly he or she used Uber. It looks a bit weird. There's no like synergy. So hence, from our back end, we need to look through each and every influencer so that it relates to daily life of humans. So for us, it's usually about 3 weeks to a month. We need to brainstorm, we need to find suitable for the right target market. Yes. Yeah.
So obviously they've given you a budget. Typically, like what are some of the ROIs that as a consumer, as a client, see on that? I mean, like obviously there are some hit and misses, but I mean, over time you've garnered the experience, and then you're putting the right influences in front of the right clients, and then based on that budget, you have a rough idea. Like, so typically, what type of ROI are we looking at? Like, if I put in X amount, when would I be able to see some returns?
Yeah, okay, so for Colony, right, that's pretty amazing, right? In our first quarter of operation, which was July, August, September, well, actually it's late July, so it's essentially about 2 months plus, right? We spent about 30,000 ringgit on like advertising and everything, our referrals, commissions, everything. And we pulled in about 600,000 in sales, which is about 20 times. The actual sales that we can track, it's very easy to track when you're a small company, it's very easy to track when you're just starting, right? But still we had like a lot of hits and misses even within this 30,000 bucks. But the truth is, okay, I'll tell you the trick, right? The trick is that instead of, apart from just engaging services to like Sushi Vid and Nafnang or to pay influencers and everything, that's all great, right? But I'm a huge believer that the influencers should start from the business owner themselves, right? Like, you have to be the influencer of your business, because if you think about it, we live in such a competitive world where, okay, just in co-working spaces alone, right? There are 36 co-working spaces in KL alone last year. Can you believe that? You only hear about 3 or 4, right? Because everybody is shouting for attention, and everybody only hears about the 3 or 4 ones, right? And this year there'll be 70, 80 over. And it's reflective in many, many other industries, right? Everyone is fighting for attention over the competitors. So what do people remember? Unfortunately, people don't care about your business. They don't care about Colony, they don't care about Nafnang or whoever, they don't care. People generally care about themselves, right? So but people generally tend to follow stories a lot better than they follow products or brands. right? So who is that story, or who's that storyteller, and who's that face in your company, right? And it's worked, it really works. So a friend of mine, like Vivi Yusof, influencer, started Fashion Ballet, right? And then after that started Dark Group, and now Dark Group's like wildly successful, and she recently just got invested in by Khazanah, and it's purely from Instagram followers space, you know, and she didn't even have to start big. When she first started all this, right, her Instagram followers were not that big. Today they're a million plus, or 1.2 million, something like that. So for me, I really believe that yes, for a very successful influencer social media strategy, the face of your company has to come out, you know. So that's what I believe in. Yeah.
Fantastic. Anything to add? Right. Let's get a bit on the back end type of thing. So you guys come from like agencies, been with like, you know, blogging, sushi vid, content vid. What are some of the problems that you've encountered with the influencers? So what are some of the juicy stories that you can share with us?
Well, this one I got a lot to cover. No ending, man. But no, like, actually at the end of the day, I think it's human to human interaction again, you know. It's about communicating with the brand that, hey, this one cannot. It's like, first the brand tell you, okay, I want one photo. When it came down to the brief, it's like, oh, I want a carousel of photos. It's like, no, we already agree with the influencers one photo. You cannot like suddenly change to carousel photos. Sometimes, because the client is big, then we, no choice, we have to say, okay lah. Then we have to go and tell the influencer, oh, this is the time where they all going to give us all kinds of funny excuses, or you know, they cold shoulder. Worst ones are actually the worst type of influencer is the type that don't reply. It's like, you send them something, they don't reply you for hours, you know. It's like, the brand is calling. It's like, no, it's not, the brand's actually fine, you know. If you're a brand, great. It's like, we like working with you because you're all very chill. The agency is the one, the agency will call you to no end because they kanchiong, you know, because the client's at the back. So the agency will be the one like, where's the post? I want the draft. Where's the draft? It's like, you know, we are also waiting. I mean, you have a phone, I also have a phone. I already messaged already. That's all I can do. I already call, I already DM them on their Instagram. That's all I can do. You know, but yeah, the worst type of influencers is when they don't reply. But I got more to complain about the brand. Because I do brand. This guy over there, Firdaus, he does the influencers. He may have better answers, not me. Yeah.
Yeah, so far from my side is second part is like influencer where we approach them, and then in the end is they ask us to think of a caption instead of them think of caption. Yeah. That's all.
No, on that note, that's the part, right? Sorry, I have to grab it back because I really want to kabu now. No, but the thing, right, is it's not so bad. Like some influencers, they are famous and then they don't have caption, and that's not really an influencer, is it? I mean, you want someone who has an opinion. You really want someone who is capable of handling themselves. And I mean, it's rare these days. Not a lot of. No, actually got also, but just that sometimes they're very lazy. Then they want you to do it for them. Or the way they have been trained by their talent agencies are like, you know, okay, everything you do, boleh tak you buat untuk I? Like that, God. They will expect that from you sometimes. Yeah.
Great. I think at the end of the day, it's all about human to human touch. Right, now, as let's say as a company, if I want to engage your services, what should we be looking out for? Like, what are some of the key things that we should be looking out for if we want to engage a company that's going to give us the service that, you know, we expect?
I think now it's more about, I mean, whichever service you use, right? I think it's really who you're comfortable with. You have a relationship to execute that well. You trust the person, you know. So that's quite subjective. I think more important is how do you determine which influencer you use, right? So that's what I was talking about earlier, right? It's so hard to figure out which one, right? So I can share some experiences of what I've done in the past. Now, generally before I use an influencer, I try to ask myself, why is this person popular? Why? Because people look up to other people. Okay, in order for a person to have the influence to influence someone else to buy something or download an app or something, right? The people who follow them must be like, I really, really like this person, right? And normally there is a reason. That reason is hardly, oh, because I think you're very pretty. It's rarely like that, right? So if you go to, if you use, let's say, an Instagram celebrity who's just a really popular girl because she's pretty, right? I've done that many, many times. 500,000 followers, it doesn't really matter. 20,000 likes, right? Run something, 0 downloads, 0 sales, nothing. It just doesn't work. Whereas opposed to if I find someone with 100K followers who maybe does very, very good videos, then that person is a lot more effective, in my experience, right? So if you think about the psychology of it, why is that so? When you think of why people admire other people, it's because of the work they do. So either they're musicians, we love the music. So I've no doubt that the Pongs will be effective because people follow them like their music, right? Whether because it's in performing arts, we like Robert Downey Jr. because of how he portrays Iron Man, or in movies or TV shows, right? Or whether it's in sports, Wayne Rooney, Kobe Bryant, and all these guys because we look up to them, or whether they're entrepreneurs like Jack Ma, because they have done stuff that we look up to, right? So if I see an influencer and I ask myself, why is this person famous? And if I can't come up with a good reason why, or if it's because of any work that, if I can't tie to any work that they've done that people are passionate about, then chances are that person's not going to be effective for a campaign. And so that's my 2 cents I have.
I actually really agree with him. Actually, I don't even know why I'm on the panel when he's here. It's like he's the guru of us all. It's like I should just not say anything at all. Seriously. But I agree, passion is so important. I mean, with our influencers as well, you can see when they really, really, they really love makeup, right? It's like they live and breathe it, It's like every time you see them, perpetually the face very nice one. And then the videos don't lie, At the end of the day, they can dissect, right? Wow, this product put on my face, the pore disappear, and then wow, it's like wow, this mineral, my face very smooth. I don't know how they do it. It's like I just take 10 minutes in the car. But some influencers, when they're really enthusiastic about makeup, you can really feel it, and that really works. Even if they don't endorse you only, they talk about your product in their videos. People that watch them will be drawn to your product. But back to your question about how to engage our platform, go to the website and then we start very, very small. We are a micro-influencer platform, so we start at 100 ringgit for a post. If you need a rate on an influencer, for example, like an influencer that has about 100,000 followers on Instagram could go anywhere from 800 to 1,005. There is really no set rates because Instagram, I can sort of, based on 1,000 posts that we've done, I can sort of have an average for you, like what is the best practice rates, but YouTube, I really cannot, because it's very subjective to influencers' creativity. It's very subjective to whether they're doing it indoor, outdoor, one camera, multi-cameras, multicast, or single person, right? So YouTube's difficult, but blogs and Instagram, we do have a pretty okay rate card. We improve it as we go, as and when we have more data, more campaigns, then we have more information about pricing. So over time, I think platforms are there to make us smarter, and like when we started, we were so manual. We were really, really manual, but over time, we feed our data into our platform, and so we became smarter and smarter as a team. But yeah, if you really want to check out our platform, it's at sushibit.com. Self-promotion time. Thank you.
No worries.
Okay, for us, we are an analytic company where we have 2 functions. One is client engages as an agency, and second is client can subscribe to our platform. So what our platform does is we have influencer profile. It's like a LinkedIn for influencer. So in this profile, we have differentiate each influencer with a certain amount of followers, with certain tiers and certain of like performance. Like for example, he or she had 100 over 1,000 followers, and if her content is good and her engagement is good, So we have our own formula that we will rate her as a hot shots. Yeah, hot shots is about 5/10. So 10/10 is superstars. So from there, business can engage to see their performance. We have an influencer insight when business can check our website and you can subscribe for the trial. And from a trial, you can see how can you keep track of each influencer that you want to know. Is this, for example, probably that this influencer is 400 over 1,000, but doesn't mean that their performance, such as able to attract more people. So through our data, we're able to get all the other influencers' performance.
Right. Let's jump about a bit and then go a bit personal. So, individually, for all three of you, what has been the most inspiring thing that's happened to you so far in this line?
For me, the most inspiring thing to see is my team. And I'm going to tear up, but it matters so much to me that we function as a family. It matters so much to me that we love what we do. We're passionate about what we do, really. And it's like, it translates to the way we treat our influencers. It translates to the way we treat our brands. We take pride in every single campaign. It's like, whenever we scroll through Instagram, it's like, oh, is that ours? Yeah, is that ours? Oh, is that ours? It's like, and then when it's not ours, we're like, how come we didn't get the job? You know? But we're really a bunch of so passionate people about creators. And that means so much to me because I came from banks and I was an investment banker and life sucked so bad. It sucked the living daylight out of me because I go to work and I'm dreading my feet to go to work. And then I became an actress and it was so bad. It was like I really didn't enjoy myself. I didn't get my break. But when I started my business, I think I became me. I found the best me already, which is, you know, me leading a team of young, people who don't want to grow up, and together we built a community of creators, and that means the most to me. I mean, for me, it's very personal, and I know people are like, oh, you know, don't mix your life and personal. No, but today's world is sharing economy. Is, you know, it's like, you know, not people even consider maybe don't want to buy a house really in the future because we can share, you know, this. So the world has evolved, workspace and everything has evolved into something so different. And so why does businesses have to be so rigid? So in my company, when we go to work, we wear t-shirt, shorts, slippers. You know, unless I have to come out, all of us got spare clothes in the car because we're so lazy. But it's like, I just feel like we go from our home to another home. And we function as a family. And that is what really inspires me on a day-to-day basis with my team. And which is also one of the reasons why I cannot go to Colony, because I go there, I feel like I have to dress up. Because all the people that go to Colony, right, must look Instagrammable immediately, you know. Whereas like we all is like, oh, t-shirt, shorts, no makeup, come to work, whatever. So yeah, what inspires me truly is my team and the community of people that I support and that support us as well.
For me, it's my team as well. We started quite humbly in Hong Kong. It was like when we started about, we are a 2-year-old company. When we started in our first year, we really struggled. And apparently, me and my partners, we almost like give ups to a point. And that's why we keep approaching business, and we have the honesty that we want to grow their business as well. So apparently when we approached one of the big brands, which is Estee Lauder, and they trusted us by starting a small campaign, and that's how we grew from a small team of 3 to 5 and then to 8, and every day our team is passionate to grow business, to help business to grow their business as well. So, and hence eventually we expanded to Taiwan and then now Malaysia. And yes, that's what inspired me.
Okay, so Timothy has passed on this question. He wants to take on the next one. Okay, so we're going to go to the other end of the extreme. I'd like to ask, what is your worst experience that you've encountered in this industry, and what has it taught you?
Actually, I mean, the reason why I passed the question is because after hearing that, I don't think I could say anything of further value to that. And my father always taught me growing up, said, you know, Tiam, you must always learn when to speak up and when to shut up. So I decided to shut up then. But I didn't expect that the next question that I would take then is the worst experience. I mean, you know, this industry, this industry, like the media industry, is a very people-driven industry. It's all about people, right? It's, you know, when I compare myself, like right now, today in Colony, if I get a complaint from a customer, from a client, right, it's normally for a very good reason. The aircon is not cold anymore, or the Wi-Fi is not working, right? And I know, just fix it. But in a people-driven industry like the media industry or the influencer business, right, it's people, you know, like, you can do a job, and you can do it very, very well, but at the end of the day, if the client's expectations are not what, you don't match the client's expectations, and note that the client's expectations can change over time, you know, you get the blame for it, you know. So I guess that's a part of the reason why I kind of felt tired after many years, and I wanted to do something outside that is less people-driven now. You know, so everything Yuhwen is saying about all the difficulties she's had, and I resonate with that because I've had to go through that quite a bit in the past.
I actually wanted to tell you, like, oh my God, you got out. How did you do it? How did you get out? For me, the worst type of things, I think the worst for us, I really wish for the worst to be already over. I don't know whether it's over yet because I think startup journey is always up and down. But last year, my team and we sent out over 100 proposals. And I mean proposals to all the different agencies, right? Proposals to, and when I started the business, really, I learned coding in 2012. And I thought, like, okay lah, I'm going to build an app. I built some Flappy Bird, 99 cents, everybody sendiri, download and then play yourself. It's very good. Everybody just download app and play. So I wanted to build an app. Right? I wanted to build a web-based application that has analytics, that has payment, that has influencer profiles, and that has all kinds of stuff, right? But it wasn't like that because at the end of the day, it was human and human on the other side. But you know, I already in there, investor pay money, really no choice, have to tahan and stay. But yeah, I think last year was a really testing time for my team because 100 proposals was very stressful, very stressful because we didn't get the jobs. And I started to question, was it because our proposal wasn't good enough? Was our price too expensive? Maybe our proposal was we missed some element in there is missing. What is it? Because people wouldn't tell us. And so last year we tried so hard to come up with all the different proposals. And at one point I went to a friend from an agency as well, and I said, "Can you look at my proposal and tell me what's wrong? Tell me why it's not working." And sorry, I tear up again. It's because it's so heartbreaking for me. And they looked at it and they said, "When I feel so sorry for you. You really put in effort. I can see you put in effort, but it didn't close." It was so painful for me that I had to go to my investor and say, "I don't think this is working out. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I don't think this is working out." And I very honestly told them, "Hey guys, we're a startup. This is not going to work out. I cannot send you proposals anymore. Please, if you are pitching, I cannot participate in your pitch. If you are fishing for price, I cannot help you to fish your price anymore. Only come to me if you honestly want to work with me. Please, because we're a startup, we have capital problems, we have mouths to feed. I cannot keep giving you proposal upon proposal. You have to tell me either what's going on, or if you want to work with me, everything else is negotiable. You tell me your budget's 50,000, okay, I can make it work. I can do my best to make it work while we make a little bit of living, that's the whole point, right? But don't come to me and fish for something, and then in the end, I was just fishing up. That was what hurt the most for me, because we really, I think it was like, oh my goodness, we stayed every weekend at work. Even like the last week, my whole team, like we left work at 4, we left work at midnight last night. We work every single day really, really hard. So it really mattered to me that when we work with agencies, that they tell us honestly, if they're pitching, if they're fishing, we don't want to participate. We're very, very clear. I know what we're worth, I know what our value is, and I know that I can give you impact. I will do my best, but no more proposals. That was where I drew the line.
That was quite touching, actually. No. I still have the tears for my wife.
The startup journey is really hard. An influencer's journey is very hard. They have to make content every single day, and then when they don't see the kind of results that they want, it's heartbreaking. We're within a business where we have a bunch of strawberries. These influencers, we call them strawberries, because they are emotional beings just like ourselves. But it's very, very hard work, because it's daily making content, And I tried. Even with my team, I told them, like, guys, they're Insta storying and they were live just now. So yeah, we try so hard to, like, okay, we are out there, we gotta be live, we gotta try to put ourselves out there all the time. It's hard. Influencers also have it really hard. Really.
I think it's important that we get a perspective from both sides. I think, as a consumer, you consume content, you see what's put in front of the screen, and obviously, that's all glamorous and all that. But at the end of the day, Miss Jaja, the first keynote, she posted the video at the end, says, "Don't quit." And I think Gaston said, you have to do work with your passion, and obviously we see that passion up here. So I think that is the underlying message that we want to convey, that whatever business you do, whatever things you do, don't quit and have the passion. And it works anyway, not just what's happening, what's the in thing right now, social influencer marketing. It's going to be the same. It's not like something that is like a magic bullet, you do it, and then you're the next Mark Zuckerberg. And on that point, I'd like to get a bit of your insight on, hey, what's happening with this Cambridge Analytica? Is that affecting you? Is that having an effect on what's happening now in the market?
Yeah, so apparently for the Cambridge Analytica at the moment, we are partly affected because we handle more on the data side. So apparently when we try, currently now with our team back in Hong Kong, we are trying to keep update with the Facebook there as well. So there's few API from Facebook now that we still do not know what is their backend, what is their solution. Because some of the API for us to crawl the data from the influencer, they have shut it down. So that's all at the moment that I can comment. Yeah. So Facebook is revamping certain part of the data part. Yeah. So we're still waiting.
For me, I think now is the opportunity to go all in on Facebook. Because everybody's scared, so nobody invests in Facebook, so the price is going to be cheap. And no competition, no? For you, now is the time to go into Facebook and just like throw money there. Because nobody else is there. Everybody's like, oh no, Facebook. Yeah, but honestly, truth be told, all of us still scroll Facebook in the morning, isn't it? Everything, first thing you all wake up, so also still scroll your Facebook, right? Doesn't change, no? You ask me deep down, I don't know, maybe Malaysians are very apathetic, thanks to our politics, everything, we all immune already. But it's like, honestly speaking, we still scroll our Facebook. You ask me whether I'm going to delete Facebook, I don't think so. Like, personally, I can't, because I have a lot of friends from the US, I have a lot of friends in Australia, I love my friends. I'm not going to delete my Facebook, right? But, yeah, Malaysians are still on Facebook. That hasn't changed for us, really. And now is really the time to go all in. It's cheap.
I think, I'm just going to tie up the session before we go to Q&A. Innovative Youth 4.0 was set up by our youth committee as our signature event that we hold to promote the chamber. And part of it engages students and have the competition. So the competition is actually running since the 2nd of April until the end of this month. This seminar was set up partly to help them understand more about social influencer marketing, and also teach them on some of the techniques. Also give them a bit of insight on what's happening behind. So having said that, I'd like to pass the mic and let the panelists maybe have 2 minutes of some parting wisdom for the students on, let's say, if they were going on forward with the competition, you know, what can I do? Or maybe even for the youth entrepreneurs that we have here as well, like if they wanted to expand their business, you know, how can they leverage off social influencer marketing and how should they get started? Yeah, let's start from that end. So Timothy has more time to think.
Okay, I don't need to think, because girls are quick, you know, we like that. When it comes to advice for young entrepreneurs, I believe Timothy was right. You need to really be the face of your own business. At the end of the day, I'm an introvert. Nobody believes me when I say that. It's true, I'm an introvert. After I hang out with y'all for some time, talk here already, right, I need to go back to my hole and hide for a while. I'm an introvert. But when it comes to my business, I just got to be brave lah. Have to, you know, come out and stand strong. Yeah, I'm shaking. Seriously, like down here, inside it's shaking one. Y'all don't see it only. It's like very, very nervous, hands all cold. So, but as entrepreneurs, you really have to be the major storyteller for your own business. Nobody else can do it for you. Even like basic stuff lah. Even for example, Google Ads or writing blogs about your journey. I think people like to follow the journey. And so a little bit of shameless promotion. Please follow me on LinkedIn and my Instagram. Later can ask me for the handle. Okay, it's very small, but yeah, just a little bit on that. For the competition, what competition is this?
We have a competition where we have product sponsors come in, they give them a campaign, whether they push like a product or a service. It's basically for the university students, they split up into teams, they use their social media platform to push for it. So I think they gain some techniques from the keynote, from the influencers as well, you know, consistency, content, you know, that type of jazz. Anything to add on top of that?
Think of how you're going to give value to the brand that is going to be sponsoring this. So a few days ago, I had a campaign from Tmall, and one of my influencers called me on the phone. And I usually I'm not the one handling, but because it's Chinese and Firdaus is Malay, so I had to pick up the phone. The influencer asked me like, oh, I don't know how to propose for this campaign. And I said to them, what do you think Tmall is trying to do? At the end of the day, Tmall is trying to tell people, right, that this category of products can be purchased on Tmall. Why is this category of products need social media influencers? Because maybe people always think made in China cannot use, made in China quality bad, made in China, okay, not so good. Or maybe they are not discovered. Maybe the brand, Tmall, selling this category of products is not being discovered by Malaysians, and because of the DFTZ and everything, they're expanding to Malaysia, right? So then I put it back to the influencer. How are you going to give value to the client? What do you think Tmall wants? And I didn't give him the answer. I told him, you think for yourself. If you are Tmall, what do you think they're trying to get from you? So for the students, if you're doing this, think not just for you and your feed, think about the brand. What will help them? What is it that they want? And a lot of times it's sales lah, but a lot of times it could also be, you know, content. Sometimes they really need content. And I cannot emphasize this further. A lot of brands before they start already want to do influencer marketing. But I'm like, bro, your foundation not built yet. Your Facebook don't have a lot of information. Your blogs are empty. You don't have a lot of inbound marketing already. So I think that's really important. So maybe sometimes influencers or the students could consider what is the content, what's the angle that will help the brand, and do some research on their own website also. Or you can call me. I will have a look. Yeah, those that are here will need special tips.
Dexter, anything to add?
Okay, for those who are interested in the entrepreneur journey, I always believe that it's an experiment. Life is experiment. Always have an end mind goal of what you achieve, and have many ways to reach your goals. And for those who are participating in the competition, I do believe that first of all you need to understand who is your client, what they are doing, what's their target audience. Do more homework about them, and get more information about their brands, what product they are doing. I think that's all.
I guess for me, I'll share from a mistake that I made and I'm trying to correct right now in my life, right? And if you can prevent that, that would be like get off social media. Well, see, I say that, everybody looks up at me. What? We're freaking social media thing, you're telling me to get off at the end of it, right? Like, okay, don't have to get off entirely, like delete everything, but just like really limit the time you spend there. So, I've learned this because I've done a lot of like research on social media and what makes social media addictive, right? So social media actually bears a lot in common with what makes gambling addictive. You know, it's all about like giving you spikes of like downers and then other spikes of happiness and then downers again, you know. And the thing about all these social media apps, right, is that they function just like games apps, or like iPad games and phone games. They're meant to be as addictive as possible and take up as much time in your day in as many fragmented pieces as possible, right? And as a result of that, right, our psychology as human beings have really changed, and I see that in myself. Like, I used to be able to read books, right, for hours and don't even know the time goes by. I can't focus now. I can't. I'll read a book for like freaking 5 minutes, and then I need to check my phone, or I need to check my stupid iPad game that I'm playing now that's killing me. It's irritating me, right? But you know, I need to do this. And I mean, if we sit here, right, how many of us are like glancing at our phones all the time? You know, it's not because we mean any harm, right? We just can't help it. If we got fined $10 for every time we glance at our phone, we still can't help it, we'll still glance at our damn phone. You know, it's because of all these apps, you see. And as a result of that, right, it takes away our ability to concentrate. And when we don't have the ability to concentrate, we can't build anything great. And that's why Steve Jobs is always known to not be on social media. Elon Musk as well, right? Elon Musk uses social media as a tool, right? Which is what I do now, right? So if I go in, I only use all the social media platforms just to post. I hardly scroll. I only scroll if I really have absolutely nothing to do. I'm lining up in a bank and I got nothing to do, then I'll scroll, right? But I'll do everything else. My Twitter feed is just news, so I don't really have all the other, you know, stuff. And I realized that actually you don't really miss out on much. You know, the things I thought that I would miss out on, oh, if I don't check Facebook, then I won't know whether my friend got proposed to or not, or stuff like that, right? And which is true. I actually didn't realize that one of my friends got proposed to his girlfriend recently. And in fact, I got sent a wedding invite on Facebook that I didn't even respond to, so I didn't even go for the friend's wedding. But I realized that the friends that matter, right, we don't need Facebook to keep us in touch with them. We will always be up to date, we will always go for the wedding. And we don't need 200 friends, we just need 10 good ones. You know? So what I'm struggling with now, what I'm really struggling with now is trying to get away. So I've successfully limited my social media time. Now this stupid game that's killing me, that is very addictive, that I'm trying to get out of. And after I get out, hopefully I can condition myself to concentrate again. And the next one that is quite difficult is actually WhatsApp, actually. So I started I've started putting my phone permanently on vibrate, and the next step for me would be to put everything permanently on silent, or muted, right? So I'll check my thing every 3 hours or something like that. So, you know, yeah, if there's one thing I'm trying to correct with myself, this is it.
Well, there you have it. I hope you guys found this panel to be as engaging and as entertaining as the previous one. I'd like to, again, welcome everybody to give our 3 panelists a big round of applause for a wonderful session. Thanks to Timothy, Yuhwen, and Dexter. And now I would like to pass the MC, mic back to the MC. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, panelists, and John. Thank you very much for the